Florida State is awful. They suck, and that is sugarcoating it. And one of my newly discovered favorite hobbies is watching Florida State lose. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. What about this one? Vanderbilt. What are you doing, bro? They lost to Georgia State.
The silencers. Hey, them Instagram followers got us for today. You heard me?
What a weekend, man. What a weekend of college football. Although we didn't have some crazy big-time upset like Northern Illinois over Notre Dame, a weekend of college football is still great, rare, less. And I probably should have started out the video by saying this, but oh well, too late now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the official Week 3 recap. This is one of, if not the most anticipated video on the channel, and it's one of my personal favorites as well. We got a lot of things to talk about, including Georgia, the #1 team in the nation. They struggle a little bit, or not even a little bit, but a lot of bit with Kentucky. Got fortunate to walk out there with a win. Texas, they take care of business. And how about this one? Alabama, they're starting to look like the old Alabama. A lot of people had this Alabama-Wisconsin game circled, thought it might be one of the better games of the week, but it got ugly, and I mean, it got ugly quick. Missouri gets a top 25 win. Oklahoma somewhat struggles a little bit, and Oregon, finally, they turn it on. Colorado gets a big win for Coach Prime, and Kansas State, they got a big win on Friday night. Many more things we're going to talk about, including Tennessee dropped a 65-burger. No, not for the entire game. In the first half. And one of the better games on Saturday was the Backyard Brawl. I cannot believe Pittsburgh pulled that out. Hope you guys are as excited to get into this video as I am. Strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video. Because trust me, I do the same thing, but I am Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up, not further ado. Let's get into it. Alright, if you're new around here, we like to start out things with our 11 a.m. games first. And you know what? Let's start it off with old South Kakalaki and LSU, because that was a good one. Arguably, now I'm thinking about it, maybe the best game of the day. And I know what everybody's going to say, and I don't want to talk about it too much. Oh, the refs, they cost South Carolina the game. If you were to ask me, yo, Matt, do you think the refs were questionable in this game? Yes, I do. I'm not going to sit up here and dissect every single call they made that they shouldn't have made or every single call they missed. What I am going to do is I'll talk about the biggest one, at least my humble opinion. It wasn't even like roughing the passer. It was after the interception where they hit Nussmeier. If you don't know what happened, Nussmeier threw an interception. South Carolina, they wound up taking back for 6, and that would have won the game. However, a player on South Carolina decided to hit Nussmeier, and it got called back. The interception still stood. They just didn't get the touchdown, which hurt them a lot, and they needed that because they had their backup quarterback, Robbie Ashford, in there. Speaking of Robbie Ashford, when he went in the game, I can't be the only one who's like, wait a minute. I know that ain't who I think it is. I completely forgot he transferred from Auburn to South Carolina. He came in for the injured Sellers, and I just tell you right now, LSU got really fortunate to walk out there with a win because if South Carolina's quarterback, Sellers, he doesn't get hurt, I think they win this game easily. That Carolina offense was moving and grooving all over LSU. They was just running all over them. This is what I label as a devastating loss because South Carolina really needed this one. This would have put them in a great position. Nobody was really giving them too much of a chance heading into this game, and if they would have won, that'd have been 2 straight wins over SEC teams. One of those being Kentucky, which we now see Kentucky can compete with the best of them, and now LSU. And what wound up happening in this game is Carolina couldn't put LSU away. LSU had some calls go in their favor, and LSU's offense is already great itself. It doesn't need any help. They're a team where if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and that's what happened. As devastating as the loss it was for South Carolina, this is an amazing win for LSU, and that fan base has got to be feeling great because you know you stole one. These are some of the best games to win as a player, coach, fan, however you're affiliated with the team. There's just something to be said about winning a game in which it wasn't looking good for you all throughout. Congratulations to LSU for the win, and here's my biggest question. I said this in one of yesterday's videos. I can't tell if LSU is not that good, like they're worse than what I thought they were going to be this year, or if South Carolina is better than what I thought they'd be. Maybe it's a combination of both. Also at 11 a.m., I'm not going to talk about this game too much because it went how I thought it would. Alabama destroyed Wisconsin. Unfortunately, Wisconsin's starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke did get injured in this game, but I don't think it would have mattered too much. Jalen Milroe put on a Heisman performance, played an outstanding game. He couldn't play it any better. He just diced him up. He was the MVP. He was Alabama's leading passer and the leading rusher. Alabama's defense also played out of their minds. It was just complete domination. Also at 11 a.m., and this was the game I was locked in on the most, Memphis beat Florida State. Now, I wish I could sit up here and say, oh my goodness, guys, how did this happen? I'm shocked. But come on, man, I'm not. Florida State is awful. They suck, and that is sugarcoating it. And one of my newly discovered favorite hobbies is watching Florida State lose. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. There is nothing better than me right now in my life than watching Florida State lose. It's amazing, and I'll never get tired of it. And the crazy part about it is Memphis didn't even play that great of a game, at least not in my humble opinion. And speaking of Memphis, they're a legit college football playoff contender. Watch out for them. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but they're going to have a shot. Ooga Badoogie had your typical Ooga Badoogie performance. But it's not just on Ooga Badoogie. This entire Florida State cinnamon roll team, well, they're not a team. They have a terrible culture there. That's enough of that. Going on down here in Missouri, they overcome a 14-3 deficit, and they beat Boston College and Bob, which is Bill O'Brien, 27-21. This game went almost exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be I actually stated word for word in the preview it was going to be a 3 or 7 point game, but I got Missouri winning, and that's what it was. Missouri walks out there with a 6-point win. Was they insanely impressive? No, but a win is a win against a top 25 team. In college football, there's different tiers, and although Missouri is a top 10 team in my humble opinion, they're not on that Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Alabama tier quite just yet. Oregon and Notre Dame both finally play a complete and total football game, and they win easily. I think a lot of people are going to see the final score and go, oh, this wasn't much of a game, but it actually was. Oklahoma beats Tulane 34-19. I tell you what, though, Oklahoma, they're not looking too good. They've won the past couple of weeks, but not too impressed with them. Texas A&M walks into the swamp and quite literally beats the crap out of Billy Napier in Florida. That was a butt whooping from start to finish. And what about this? A&M, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. What was the biggest storyline heading into this game? DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz. Well, come to find out, there was going to be a new quarterback that nobody was talking about, and he was going to be the biggest storyline of the game. Marcel Reed from Texas A&M. Marcel Reed wound up getting the start over Connor Wigman because Wigman was out due to an injury. And man, oh man, you want to talk about controlling the game? That's what A&M did from start to finish. The final score says 33-20, but it was not that close. Reed on the day went 11 for 17, buck 78, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs, 87.2 QBR. On the road, you'll take that. This was a really big win for A&M and Mike Elko, the entire staff, because they haven't won a road game in the SEC in forever. It's been like 8 or 9 games. Congratulations to them. I know they did lose Notre Dame, but A&M's looking like a solid ball club. I'll put it to you like this, and we'll get a move on. They're not a cakewalk like Florida. Florida's got so many different problems, and we're going to talk all about them throughout this week, so I'm not going to go too into detail. The backyard brawl, what about that? Pittsburgh was trailing 34-24. They come back with like 3 minutes to go. Insane comeback. Eli Holston, he went off 21 for 30, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Eli Holston was like the third string quarterback at Alabama. Now he's at Pitt, so I thought that was interesting. And I don't know what it is about West Virginia, but they just somehow, someway always find a way to lose games, especially these past couple of years. I feel bad for that fan base. Nobody has gone through more pain and misery than West Virginia fans when it comes to losing close games. Actually, let me change that. Nebraska fans also, because they're giving a run for their money there. Nebraska and West Virginia these past couple of years, they're just known for screwing up games. Texas beat the absolute crap out of UTSA, and the only reason I'm talking about this game is because Ewers got hurt, and guess who came in? Arch Manning, and he went off. And he played so good, as a matter of fact, you got people now trying to state, hey, do we have a quarterback competition? Is Arch Manning better than Quinn Ewers? And that is just foolishness. I don't understand why we can't just say, yeah, Arch Manning had a good game and still realize this is Quinn Ewers' team. The disrespect is crazy. Quinn Ewers, in my humble opinion, is the best quarterback in the nation. Arch Manning went 9 for 12, 223 yards with 4 passing. Oh my goodness. I just saw it. His QBR was 99.9. That is the highest QBR I've ever seen. On the ground as well, he also had that 67-yard rushing touchdown. He played great. Texas is in good hands there with the quarterback position, at least for the next couple of years. What about this one? Vanderbilt, what are you doing, bro? They lost to Georgia State. I'm not too shocked by this, but it's just like, man, come on, Vandy, what are you doing? Getting into our night games, Georgia, they escaped Kentucky 13-12. We did a reaction to this game last night, so I already talked about it a lot, but I'll talk about it some more. And the great thing about the reaction videos is that's my immediate reaction. Normally when I go to bed and I sleep on things, watch some film, I reevaluate and I reassess. And a few times, it's not rare, my opinion and outlook on the game, it'll change. Well, for this one though, everything I said last night, I'm standing 10 toes down on that. Here is going to be the take from every casual cheesy puff eater on the couch. Oh my goodness, man, I can't believe Georgia only beat Kentucky by 1. Kentucky lost to South Carolina by 20 plus points. That means Georgia's overrated. Georgia's not as good as we thought they are, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. To me, I think that is just such a terrible outlook on this game, and It's wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Georgia played a good football game because they didn't, but I don't think they played bad. They made a few mistakes here and there you could nitpick at, but overall, this was more so about Kentucky. You have to remember when you talk about these games, this is Kentucky's Super Bowl. They know they're not going to the college football playoff, which means this is the biggest game this year. The big difference maker in this game is Kentucky held their own at the line of scrimmage, and most teams against Georgia can't do that. They milked the clock, limited the possessions, and when you do that, you get a low-scoring affair. Also got though in there, Kentucky's defense played out of their mind. They couldn't play too much better. They had Georgia on clamps. Like I said, I can't emphasize this enough. I'm just viewing this as the stereotypical close game that every national title contender has every single year. Every great team, every single season, not even championship winners, but top 5 teams, they have a game like this. I think it's naive thinking to just assume, okay, Georgia's just overrated. That shouldn't be your takeaway from this game. It was just one of those hard-nosed, physical SEC road wins. I don't think anything less of Georgia. On the flip side for Kentucky, I'll clap it up for y'all. You played a heck of a game. Going on down here, Auburn, what about that? They got the new quarterback, Hank Brown, and he had a really good performance. Granted, you played New Mexico. They're awful, but it looks like Hank Brown's going to be a starter moving forward. That's going to be interesting to see how that situation plays out. And what about this? Colorado and Coach Brown-led Buffaloes. They beat their rival, Colorado State, 28-9. Very impressive win for Colorado. I actually doubted them. I picked against them, and they just blew them out. Tennessee wound up hanging a 65-burger on Kent State at halftime. Here's all I'm going to say about this Tennessee game, and it has nothing to do with the game itself. Oklahoma plays Tennessee next week. Good luck, Oklahoma. You're going to need it. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about this one on Friday night. Arizona and Kansas State, they did play, and Kansas State just blew them out of the water. Arizona didn't have anything for them, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's it. Many more things I could say, but we'll end off the video here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But